Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. For practice today, prop-wise, if you have any blocks, go ahead and grab them. If you don't have blocks, that's perfectly okay. You can also use any thick books. So if you have any old textbooks lying around that maybe aren't worth anything when you went to sell them back, you can grab those too. You can also if you'd like a blanket for underneath your knees, if we're on our hands and knees and you need some extra padding under the knees, go ahead and grab a blanket as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. Come to lying flat on your back with your feet on the ground, knees pointed up towards the ceiling. You can bring your hands to the floor on your belly. You can bring one to your belly, one to your heart, wherever feels comfortable for you. And then go ahead and you can soften your eyes or you can close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. If you hear any panting, that is not me. Franco is here, so that is him. I also have Fritz and Sam here, so if you see anybody walk by, it's one of those three. Hopefully they sleep and are good boys. Take a big inhale, feel that air expand through your chest and your belly, and then exhale. To get started, we're just going to get grounded and centered and really set the tone for this practice. So I'm going to count and we'll inhale for a count of 4. We'll hold at the top for a count of 2, and then we will exhale for a count of 6. And then we'll hold at the bottom for a count of 2. So before we start, go ahead and take a breath in and blow that out. And as we do this, you can inhale through the nose and then out through the mouth or back out through the nose. Let's get started here. We'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 1, 2. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Now let that go. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, just let everything go and return to your normal breath for a few breaths. If your eyes are closed, slowly start to blink them open and readjust yourself to your surroundings around you. It looks like Franco decided to join us. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a big hug. If your arms don't reach, that's okay. You can just bring your hands to your shins. You should feel a nice lengthening on your lower back. And breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and roll to one side, whatever side is your favorite. Come into a little fetal position. Rest your head on your bottom arm. Just take a couple breaths here. And then go ahead and press into whatever arm is on top. Push yourself up, and we're going to come into a tabletop position. So I invite you to bring your knees underneath your hips, your hands underneath your shoulders. Keep your back straight, your head and neck in line with the spine, and look down. We're going to go ahead and warm up the spine a little bit. So on an inhale, lift your tail, lift your head, look forward, drop the lower ribs down towards the ground. We're going to come into a cow pose. And on an exhale, round through the spine, drop the head, tuck your tail, press into your hands, and we're going to come into a cat pose. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the head, cat. Exhale, round through the spine, drop the head, tuck the tail, cat. Do a few more on your own breath. So on your inhale, you'll come into a cow pose. Exhale, come into a cat pose. Make sure you keep breathing. You should feel a nice stretch through the front body in your cow pose. And a nice stretch through your back body on the cat pose. Go ahead and do one more round. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and come back to a flat back. Bring your knees as wide as the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, send your hips towards your heels. And we're going to come into an extended child's pose. So you can walk your fingers forward, and you can bring your forehead to the mat that's in your practice. If your forehead doesn't reach, you can also rest your head on a block. Just take a couple breaths here. Inhale, look forward, shift forward, and we're going to come back into a tabletop position. And then go ahead and walk your knees a little bit back, and then come forward down all the way to your belly, and bring your forehead to the floor. Make sure that the tops of your feet are pressing into the floor. Your toes don't need to be tucked under. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, peel your forehead up, look forward, and we're just going to come into a little baby cobra. Make sure to keep breathing. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead back to the floor. On an inhale, tuck your toes. lift your knees up off the floor, and on an exhale, push through your hands and come up into a plank. If you can't push all the way up, you can also just push yourself back onto all fours and then lift your knees up. Make sure to keep a straight line through your spine and through your back. Make sure your hips aren't dropping down too low and that they're not coming up too high, and also that you're not rounding through that upper back. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Take one more inhale, and on your next exhale, go ahead and shift the hips back and up, and we're going to come into our first downward facing dog of the day. When you're ready, go ahead and kind of walk through your feet a little bit. We're going to walk our dog, so bend one knee, straighten the other, and then reverse. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring that to stillness for just a couple of breaths. In this downward facing dog, it's okay if your feet do not reach the floor or your heels don't reach the floor. They can be up like mine are. Just make sure you're feeling that length through those legs and through your back. Your next inhale, look forward, and then we're going to make our way up towards the top of the mat. So you can hop, step, jump. You can take baby steps or ragdoll, I believe is what it's called. And on an inhale, come up halfway. You can rest your hands on your thighs. Keep a nice straight line through your back. Make sure you have a little micro bend in your knees. And on an exhale, let it all go. Lower down towards the floor. In this forward fold, you should feel a nice stretch on your hamstrings. If you're getting a lot of rounding through the spine and collapsing, you can also use blocks to bring the floor up to you. So you can use it on whatever size feels good for you. But you should feel a nice stretch in those hamstrings. And make sure to breathe. Ready, make sure your hands are flat towards the ground, and we're going to step our right foot back, lower that right knee to the floor. You can keep the toes tucked or you can untuck them, and then bring your left leg to a 90-degree angle. So you may have to walk your knee forward like I did. We're just going to come into a nice low lunge. So make sure to not collapse in the chest, keep your chest up, and make sure that your knee is in line with your ankle. And breathe. You should feel a nice stretch in that right quad. When you're ready, tuck the right toes under, lift the knee off the ground, make sure your palms are planted on the ground, and we're going to step our left foot back to meet the right and come into a plank pose. We'll take just a couple of breaths here. One more inhale, and on your next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the floor slowly. Don't just collapse and make yourself belly flop. That would not be comfortable. So take a breath in and out. And on your next inhale, peel the forehead up, look forward, and come into that baby cobra. You can also press through your hands, roll your spine up, and come up into a full cobra, if that is in your practice. If you feel any pinching in your lower back, lower down until you don't feel that anymore. Make sure that your shoulders also are not coming up towards your ears, so make sure that your shoulders are back and down. And make sure to breathe. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower back down towards the floor. We'll take one breath here. On your next inhale, tuck both of your toes under. Lift the knees up off the floor, engage those quads, and on an exhale, push up into a plank. Take just a couple breaths here. One more inhale. And on your next exhale, go ahead and push into your hands. Shift your hips back and up and come into a downward facing dog. And we'll take just a couple of breaths here. Your next inhale, look forward. On an exhale, make your way up towards the top of the mat again. So again, you can step, hop, jump, float. Inhale, lift up halfway. You can put your hands on your shins if that feels good to you, or bring them to blocks. And on an exhale, go ahead and lower down. Just let it all go. And breathe. On your next inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, step that left foot back and bring the knee down to the ground. We're going to repeat the same thing on this other side. So again, you can keep your toes tucked, or you can untuck them like I've done. Make sure that your front knee, so my right knee is at a 90-degree angle, and make sure that you're pushing that knee out towards your pinky toe, that it's not collapsing in. You want to be able to see your big toe. And then from here, just breathe. If you need to bring the ground up to you in the slower lunge, you can get a couple of blocks and you can place your hands on them. And you should be feeling a nice stretch through that front quad. When you're ready, go ahead and tuck the toes on your left foot, lift the knee up, and then step the right foot back to meet the left foot. You're going to come into a plank pose again. Breathe. On your next inhale, shift forward, look forward, and on an exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Untuck your toes, lower the forehead down. On your next inhale, peel the forehead forward, look forward. You can press into your hands and rise up into Cobra. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way back down to your mat. Place your forehead on the floor, and we'll take just a breath here. Your next inhale, tuck your toes, lift the knees, engage your quads, and on an exhale, press back up into a plank. Just take a couple breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and shift the hips up, back, and down. And then coming into a downward facing dog. Just take a couple brief breaths here. I don't know if you guys can hear Franco snoring or not, but he's over here on the mat just snoring away. Alright, when you're ready on your next inhale, go ahead and lift your right foot up. Keep your toes dialed down towards the floor so it doesn't have to come all the way up to the ceiling. Make sure your hips are still in line and that they're facing towards the ground. And on an exhale, bend that knee, shift forward, knee to nose, and then step that right foot in between your hands. From here, look forward, bring your chest forward, and make sure that your left hand is planted towards the inside of your right foot. And then you can either bring your hand to your knee. You're going to bring your torso to face the inside of whatever leg is bent. So I'm bringing my torso towards my right knee. So we're going to come into a little bit of a twist. If it's in your practice, you can also raise your right up towards the ceiling. Let's take a couple breaths here. On an exhale, go ahead and lower that right arm back towards the floor. Return back to center. And then step your left foot in just a little bit. Keep the toes pointed inwards, kind of at an angle. And then rise up through your torso. Bring your torso towards the long edge of your mat. Bend your right knee to a 90-degree angle. We're going to come into a warrior two. Now in this pose, it's really important that you're not on a tightrope. So right now you can't see both of my feet. So this isn't very stable. What you want to do instead is to have your feet on like two parallel train tracks. That's a lot more stable. Oops, that just moved. Sorry. All right. So go ahead and come back into your warrior two. Keep your chest in line with your hips. And again, make sure that your knee that's bent, that you're pushing it out towards the pinky side of your foot and you can see your big toe. When you're ready, or you can either leave your hands at your hips, or when you're ready, stretch your fingertips out to each side. Pull the pinkies back in. You should feel your shoulder blades squeeze, so you can imagine a pencil in between your shoulder blades. You're holding it there. And make sure you're not drifting forward or back. Just keep a nice center line. And you can look forward towards your right fingers. And breathe. Go ahead and straighten that front knee. Don't bring it all the way straight, so don't lock it out. Just keep a slight bend in it. Shift your hips towards the left, so towards that back edge of your mat, and then start to reach forward through your right fingertips. When you're ready, you can drop that right hand down. You can bring your left fingertips up, coming into a pyramid pose. You can also use a block here to bring the floor up to you. Make sure that your chest is spiraling up towards the ceiling, and make sure you're not collapsing in your neck. Inhale and exhale. Looking up doesn't feel good to you, you can also look down. And your next exhale, bend through that front knee. Bring the torso back up and bring your arms to either side. So coming back into that warrior two. From here, we're going to shift forward. Bring your right elbow to rest on your right knee. You can bring your hand to your hip and then shift your torso up towards the ceiling. We're going to come into an extended side angle. If it's in your practice, you can also bring your hand to a block or to the floor. Other option for your top left hand, you can reach it up towards the ceiling, or if it feels good, you can reach it up towards your ear and you'll feel a nice long straight line. Again, make sure you're not collapsing through the neck, and breathe. From here, go ahead and lower that top left arm down towards the floor. Spin on that left foot. We're going to come back into our low lunge. And then we're going to go ahead and step your left foot back and come immediately back into your downward facing dog. We'll just cool off here a little bit. So inhale, feel that energy rising up through the earth, through your front body. And as you exhale, feel that energy rolling down your legs back into the ground through your back body. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift your left foot up. Again, keep your toes facing towards the floor, hips in line with each other. And on an exhale, bend the knee in towards your chest, knee to nose, shift forward, and then place that left leg in between your hands. And come into a lunge here. And breathe. Place your right hand on the floor. Spiral your torso towards the inside of your left bent knee. And then if it feels good in your body, you can lift that left arm up towards the sky or coming into that twist. You're ready, go ahead and lower that down, your left hand down to the floor. Step your right leg up just a little bit, toes pointed out towards that right corner of your mat, and then raise up, and you can turn into your warrior two. I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me. So again, make sure that you're not on a tightrope. Make sure that you can move your feet however feels good to you. Bend through that front knee. Make sure to push that knee out towards that pinky toe. Raise the arms to the side. Grip that pencil in between your shoulder blades. So pinkies towards the back edge of your mat. And breathe. The mat keeps moving as I move. Your next inhale, go ahead and straighten through that front knee. Again, don't lock it out. Push the hips towards the back end of your mat. Shift forward, look forward, and then lower those left fingertips down towards the floor. Right fingers up towards the ceiling. Pyramid pose. And breathe. Next inhale, start to bend through that front knee again. Bring your torso back up to center. Warrior two. When you're ready, go ahead and place your left hand on your left knee. Spiral your torso up towards the ceiling. And then you have options. You can leave your hand towards your hip or on your hip. You can extend the arm overhead, or you can extend the arm up towards your ear, having that nice straight line. Make sure to keep length in your neck and make sure you're not collapsing. And breathe. And if it's in your practice, you can lower your hand down towards the mat. You can use a block, just whatever feels good in your body today. It can change day by day too. Your next inhale, go ahead and turn your torso back towards that front edge of your mat. Spiral on your right foot. Bring your hands to the floor. Step your left leg back to meet your right leg. In plank pose. And then on an exhale, come back into your downward facing dog. Spin back around here. On your next inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, make your way back up towards the top of the mat. On an inhale, come up halfway, and on an exhale, come back into a forward fold. And breathe. Generously bend your knees and bring your torso onto your knees. From here, start to shift up. Bring your arms up towards your ears. Sit back. We're coming into a chair pose. So imagine that you are at a sporting event. There's porta potties. You do not want to sit fully on the porta potty because that's gross. So we are training to not have to sit on porta potties when things start opening up again. Concerts, sporting events, things like that. Go ahead and bring your hands to your heart center. On an inhale, look forward. On an exhale, turn to look towards your left side. So we're going to come into a twist. If it feels good, you can bring that right elbow to the left knee, left outer knee, and forward. You don't want to press or crank, so even if you're just twisting here, that's fine. On an inhale, come back to center. Make sure that you're still sitting down and you haven't come up. On an exhale, turn to look towards the right. Again, you can hook that left elbow onto the outside of the right knee and twist, or you can just leave it a twist. And inhale, come back to center. Don't collapse through there like I was doing. And then on your next exhale, press through the feet and stand all the way up. Bring the arms down. We're going to come into a mountain pose. And breathe. You should feel that rush of energy going through your body. You can close your eyes if it feels good to you. All right, so from here we're going to work on our balance just a little bit. So you can come to the long end of the mat or you can stay on the short end of your mat, whatever feels good to you. Make sure that you're really rooted through your feet. On an inhale, just lift the heel of your right foot, come onto your toes. If you're ready for a little bit more, make sure your weight is shifted into that left foot, but your hip isn't pushing out. So you want to be one straight line. And then just lift your knee up. So we're coming into a one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose. You can stay here. If you need a little bit more, you can always interlock your fingers and grab your knee. It's really helpful to focus on one point in the room that's not moving. And that really helps to keep you in balance. If you fall out, don't worry. Just smile, brush it off, try and come back into the pose. And again, if neither of these are accessible to you today, you can always just leave your toe on the ground. On your next exhale, slowly lower that right foot to the ground. You can lift your feet up, kind of like a cat pawing a mat, and then bring that to stillness and observe both sides and breathe. When you're ready, shift your weight into your right side again. Don't dump all your weight into it so your hip is pushing out. Make sure that hip is still in line. And then lift the heel of your left foot up and breathe. If you want to take this up to your one-legged standing Tadasana, find a point in the room that's not moving to focus on, and then lift that foot up off the ground. Bring your knee into a 90-degree angle, so standing Tadasana. With your arms can either be at your side, you can have them in a prayer position, you bring them up like you would in a tree pose. You can roll your ankle, flex your foot. You can hold on to your knee. You have lots and lots of options. So listen to your body. Listen to what your intuition is telling you. Listen to how you feel and go with that. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower that left foot to the floor. You can lift your feet up a few times if you want, but eventually bring that back into stillness. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down. Bring your arms to your side, and then just observe your two sides now. Okay, we are going to widen our feet out. So if you are not on the long side of your mat, go ahead and come to the long side of your mat. Step your feet out wide. A good indicator is if you put your arms out, you can kind of determine how wide with your wrists a little bit. From here, you can put your hands at your waist. We're going to come into a strong kind of power pose. Take a couple breaths here. And on your next inhale, go ahead and stretch your arms out to the side. Take up space in the room. Coming into a star pose. So many times we shrink ourselves to try and fit into spaces. And sometimes we've outgrown those spaces, and you can't be afraid to expand and take up space. So go ahead and do that now. Make sure to keep breathing, keep your chest lifted up, tuck your tailbone so you don't want to press your hips out. So keep your tailbone tucked nice and in line. One more inhale, and on your next exhale, just let it go and swing your arms. We're going to do a fancy yoga move, so heel toe your feet in just a little bit here, and then start to swing your arms from side to side. Come up on the heel of your foot. I've done this in some other videos, so this is knocking on heaven's door. So you just swing your arms from side to side. You can have your arms out away from your body. You can have them come closer into your body, and you can kind of tap on your lower back or your booty, and then the front of your hip. And we'll just swing from side to side. You listen to your body, determine the pace and the speed that you're going today. Everyone's different, so really listen to what your body is telling you and what it needs. listen to your intuition. Tune in and see what it's asking for. This move is kind of fun. You can smile while you do it. It's playful. It breaks up a lot of stagnant energy that gets stuck in the body. So we're warming up the body, breaking up that energy. So when we come to our final rest pose, we can just let it all go. Start again anew. When you've had enough of this, go ahead and start to slow down. Bring the hands away from the body. And then you can bring the feet in a little bit more if you'd like. But bring your body to stillness. Close down the eyes and breathe. Observe how you feel. Feel that rush of energy. Feel tingles in your arms and your hands. Or you may not feel anything at all, and that's okay too. Everybody is different. Great. We're going to do one more standing pose, and then we're going to work our way down to the ground and close. So go ahead and widen your feet. Turn your toes outward, and you can bring your hands to your hips. From here, start to bend at the knee, and we're going to come into a god or a goddess pose, or you can think about a horse stance. You can bring your hands to a prayer pose. You can bring your arms up, goalpost arms, do whatever feels right. Just make sure that your tailbone is tucked and you're not shooting your hips back. Keep your chest up and lifted. You should feel a nice stretch through those inner thighs. Press those knees out towards those pinky toes. Breathe. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lower your hands towards the floor. You can walk your feet in a little bit so you can heel to the feet in. And then you can sit down a little bit more. Kind of come into like a froggy squat pose. Bring your arms back behind you. Start to lean back and then come to a seat. From here, we'll go ahead and extend the legs out. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten through your back, flex your feet towards your forehead. Breathe, nice staff pose. And then slowly lower back down towards the floor. He's so loud. Go ahead and bring your right knee into your chest. On an inhale, big Fritz. And then on an exhale, go ahead and bring that knee to the left side. You can take your right arm out to the side if it feels good to you. And then you can look over towards that right hand. So a nice reclined supine twist. Make sure to keep your shoulder blades on the floor. So you may not be able to come all this way down. Sometimes it's also helpful to put that top foot on the inside of the other leg. And breathe. We're just wringing out those organs. Your next inhale, return to center. Extend that right leg out if you can. I have a Fritz here, so he's not, he's taking up my mat a little bit. Observe your two sides. Breathe. See how they both feel. My right leg actually feels longer than my left now. Your next inhale, go ahead and bring that left knee in towards your chest. And on an exhale, bring that knee over towards the right. Coming back into that supine twist. Extend your left arm out, and you can look towards that left hand. Palm can be up or down, whatever feels right for you today. And then only go as low as feels good in your body, or as far as feels good in your body. I have a Fritz under me, so I'm just resting my leg on him. You can come all the way to the floor, go ahead and do that. On your next inhale, go ahead and return back to center. Give that left knee a squeeze, and then release it all the way down. So we're going to go ahead and come into our final resting posture, so our corpse pose Shavasana. So bring your feet as wide as the mat, or as wide as you're able to if you don't have a dog on your mat. You can extend your arms out to your sides at a 40-degree angle. You can place your hands on your belly, or a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Again, whatever feels good in your body. Make any final adjustments that you need. If you need to wiggle or get anything out, go ahead and do that. And then when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes and focus on your breath. So while you're resting in your Shavasana, the card I pulled today's practice was Wolf Spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. The message for this card is, Wolf Spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secrets to your life. Can you sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all that you are learning and make it yours? Can you integrate it all into your body, mind, and spirit? Whatever lessons you learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Be loyal to your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one you have been waiting for. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of Wolf Spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your destiny. Stay in Shavasana for as long as time allows. If you need to go ahead and we'll start to come back to the room. So deepen your breath, wiggle your fingers and toes, roll to your favorite side, and come into a fetal position. We'll take a few breaths here. When you're ready, use that top arm to push yourself into a seated position, bringing your head and neck up last, your neck and head up last. I guess if you bring your head up first, then your neck is probably already up. And you're ready, you can open your eyes. Go ahead and rub the palms together just a little bit, waking up the body again so you can return to the rest of your day. Bring that to stillness, bring your palms into your heart center. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and sharing your practice and your energy with me and with Franco and Fritz behind me, my two babies. Namaste.